So yeah, The Rock has been in a lot of bad movies, but I think I found the worst one. My name's Carter, and like 6 months ago I started watching every movie that Dwayne The Rock Johnson is in to find out which one was the worst, and I came to a pretty definitive answer. No, it's not San Andreas, or Tooth Fairy, or G.I. Joe Retaliation, even though I hate this movie with every fiber of my being. Why'd they have to blow up Duke in the first 10 minutes and replace him with this dude I don't even care about? At least they got Snake Eyes though, I love Snake Eyes. Okay, the actual worst movie that Dwayne The Rock Johnson is in is Doom, the video game movie from 2005. Yeah, so Doom is based off the game, and was part of the era that gave video game movies the reputation that they have. It's really not that complicated of a story to adapt, it's just Space Marine dude goes to Mars, finds demons, kills them and goes to hell, and kills more demons there. Pretty straightforward. Well, how did the movie do? The first scene in the movie shows a mysterious monster killing all the scientists at a dig site on Mars. The last survivor, Dr. Carmack, issues a full quarantine, but not before closing the door on his fellow scientist, banishing her to a horrible, painful death. I can't show that. Back on Earth, The Rock receives the orders to take his team to Mars to retrieve government property from that lab, rescue the scientist, and maintain quarantine by any means necessary. It's crazy how even though he's jacked in this movie, he looks kind of small when you compare him to the way he is now. Physical health is advancing every single day. We're getting stronger, we're getting faster. His team isn't totally on board with the mission because they just got done with a 6-month mission with no breaks, and they thought they would be going to vacation. It's completely understandable for them to be frustrated here because, I mean, I know if I was about to clock out and my boss said, hey, you're going to Mars, I too would be disappointed. It's the truth. Also, this dude's playing Galaxian 2 from 1981. Damn, it's the year 2046 and there's still no Switch 2. After the rest of the team clears out, we are introduced to Reaper, played by Carl Urban. It's here where the movie tells us that Reaper has a traumatic backstory linked with this Mars base, so The Rock tells him to sit this mission out, which of course means he is 100% coming with. They also tell us everyone else's names being Destroyer, Goat, Portman, The Kid, Sarge, sorry, The Rock, Mac, Reaper, and Duke. Are you kidding me? This movie has another dude named Duke? Please tell me he doesn't have a horrible death just like my beloved Mr. Channing G.I. Joe Duke Tatum. The Rock asks Reaper why after 10 years he wants to return to Mars, and he says, possibly the greatest line in movie history.
I guess you gotta face your demons sometime.
You gotta face your demons sometime. How are they gonna get to Mars quick enough to actually help, you might wonder? Well, turns out an ancient civilization built a portal to Mars. That's what they're going to use. When they pass through the portal, they all throw up, which is gross. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see people throw up. The first person they meet on Mars is Pinky, named after the bull demon from the game. This dude's just a guy with no legs. He said he lost his legs traveling through the portal because of a scientific miscalculation. First off, I'm not going back through that portal. After he said that, I'm like, I guess I live here now. And second, did the ancient civilization who built the portal not link it up correctly? Did they not link the nether portals correctly? Was that the scientific miscalculation? As the team starts to move into the base, they meet Reaper's sister, Samantha.
Tell me you didn't let a fine-looking piece of ass like that get away from you, Reaper.
She's my sister.
Apparently the reason he went back to Earth was because his parents died during a cave-in at the dig site, and while his sister wanted to stay and follow in her parents' footsteps, Reaper wanted to leave and never come back. To be clear, when I said Samantha wanted to follow in her parents' footsteps, I didn't mean dying at the dig site, I meant becoming a scientist. Samantha wants to go with them into the lab, and at first it's like, no, you can't come with us, this is very dangerous. But turns out she just wants to recover important data, and it just so happens to be one of their objectives, so they're bringing her along so she can get the right stuff. Before they actually go into the lab though, they listen to an open phone line from inside the lab, a recording from earlier, and this is what they hear. Damn, that sounds crazy in there. Okay, let's split up. The team separates into search groups, and this is where the movie starts to walk in circles. They kind of just walk around doing nothing for 10 minutes, building suspense, but it doesn't really do anything. There's no suspense being built. There is nothing happening. And finally, once they actually run into another person, the first thing they do is just mag dump. Frame one, they just empty their magazines directly at this dude. And they're lucky they have terrible aim because this is actually Dr. Carmack. Looks like he's seen some shit. He's holding an arm and he pulls his ear off. Ew. This movie's gross. I don't want to think about that. I'll worry about that in a little bit. First, we have 20 minutes of nothing to watch. Yeah, if that 10 minutes of them doing that before wasn't enough, we got another 20 coming in. This movie really does this. It just kind of starts something, and then it quickly finishes it, and then walks around and does nothing. It's time for our walk around do nothing time. Who wants to have our walk around do nothing time? Does anybody want to have walk around do nothing time? I shouldn't say like nothing happens because stuff technically happens. It just doesn't matter. It's all stuff that's like, oh, what's gonna happen? Oh, is something happening? No, not really. And it just gets so boring. During the next 20 minutes of nothing happening, Goat knocks over a can. It goes down the stairs and he uses the Lord's name in vain. So he carves a cross into his arm to repent. Real neat stuff. Real interesting stuff. Destroyer sees a monkey in the vents, which scares him so much so that he turns the ceiling and the monkey into Swiss cheese. It's a great part of the movie. Oh, I forgot to mention this earlier, but right when they got there, Portman was insisting he needed to strip search all of the women to, you know, maintain all the quarantine procedures. Bro, I don't know who put this team together, but this is the fucking silly squad. Like, this crew is not equipped to take care of a demonic invasion. I'm just saying. After those 20 minutes of nothing, they actually encounter a monster dude, but it runs away before they can do anything with it. So they gotta keep looking. Good old bait and switch. You think you got something, but you actually got nothing. While they're continuing their search for what has now been close to 40 minutes, Reaper finds a scientist who has been clearly possessed by whatever demonic force is here. And they swiftly take care of him. You can tell he's on wires. When he gets shot, he goes flying. They believe the monster went down to the sewers, so they follow it. And while they're searching, Portman gets pulled underwater. Just kidding. He stepped in a hole. This movie is so bad about this. It's like, oh no, something's happening. Never mind. Don't worry about it, guys. It feels like a spoof, but its genre label is just sci-fi horror. Like, it's not, it doesn't say it's a spoof. It feels like they were trying to make Aliens, but in all reality, they made Alien Resurrection. For those of you who haven't seen them, Aliens is a staple of the genre, and Alien Resurrection makes a joke about how the main villain corporation, the Weyland-Yutani Corp, is actually owned by Walmart. After Portman's back on his feet, they decide once again to split up. I know. Somehow they decided that Goat should be on his own, which is great, actually. It's just such a wonderful idea. His flashlight starts flickering, which is a sign of the end. I'm sorry, man. It's been a good run. Out of the darkness, you can just see the eyes of the creature, and it looks so stupid. They rush Goat out to the infirmary, but it is too late, and he succumbs to his injuries. In the exchange, they manage to take out the monster that killed him, though, so at least that's a plus. They bring the monster back for testing, and when The Rock asks Samantha what's going on here, she says, "What?" Like there's no possible reason to think anything is out of the ordinary here. You just see this giant demon monster, you're like, what? What's going on?
What, like an alien?
Look at that thing!
Also, Dr. Carmack is missing. Not sure where he went. Hope that don't matter. They need to go back into the labs and find out if there are any more monsters that need killing, so they split up again. Guys, I have an idea. What if we split up? Bro. Duke stays with Samantha in the infirmary to protect her, and there's a dog that's all aggressive at first, but then kind of cowers and runs away. There's always a bigger fish. They trap the monster in the nano door and just let it sit there. So many things happen in this movie, and I'm just like, okay, sure, dude, do whatever. Go ahead. Closing the nano door? All right, sure. That sounds like that solved that problem. Wait a minute.
What is that?
Apparently this monster is actually Dr. Carmack. They can tell because he is missing an ear. Dr. Carmack ripped off his ear. It all makes sense now. Dr. Carmack knew he would be turning into one of these monsters, so he tore off his ear so he could be identified. Samantha thinks that his condition is reversible, so she leaves him in the door. Give herself some time to figure it out, I guess. Down in the labs, Reaper and Mark find a couple of dead scientists, and on the way back to report them, Mac gets his head cut off clean. That's not really a big deal. I mean, I forgot Mac existed. I would not be surprised if you didn't know Mac existed. I can't even remember if I said Mac's name earlier.
Just like 10 seconds ago, I said Mark instead of Mac. So that articulates just how little this guy was involved in the story. Bro, why are you looking at me like that? Bro, why are you making that?
Mac's just the guy who's been standing out by the door that we haven't seen since the start of the movie. So it's real tragedy that he died. It sucks. Ooh, in other news, Goat wakes up. Goat's not dead. It's a miracle! I'm just kidding. He's a zombie. Yeah, no, for real. Like, he's an actual zombie. When The Rock comes back to the infirmary and sees a monster in the door, he's like, why is it still alive? I think this is a pretty fair thing to ask. Samantha's like, that's Dr. Carmack. I'm trying to diagnose his issue so I can solve it. And that's when The Rock diagnoses him with dead. So things are getting kind of weird here at the lab. And it turns out it's because they've been experimenting with DNA from the ancient civilization who built the portal. They're trying to, enhance human abilities, essentially make a super soldier serum. And they made zombies. Oh, which means there are no demons in Doom. There's not demons in Doom. The reason I've just called them monsters this whole video is because they're not demons. They're zombies. Doom is the hell game. The demon game. Why is there no hell in the hell game? How do you make a movie about Doom? How do you make a Doom with no demons? Doom. It's basically the same word. Pretty understandably, Reaper wants to destroy everything. He wants to get rid of all of the evidence and all of the crap, all the science stuff. That way nobody else can be turned into zombies. But The Rock is like, we have orders to retrieve government property. This is government property. It's the plot of every movie in the Alien franchise. Oh no, we have to kill the xenomorph. No, don't kill the xenomorph. We want it for science. Now The Rock is like, listen, we have to recover this data, no matter the human sacrifice. This is where the movie really starts to snowball. They split up again, and they're gonna go eliminate the dead scientists because, you know, they might turn into zombies. They want to make sure they're actually dead. And they find that some are missing, which is the perfect time for Portman to sneak off to go take a dump. It just so happens to be the last dump he will ever take, which leaves his partner Destroyer alone. And, you know, he puts up a good fight against a zombie, but his struggles were ultimately pointless. Since they've left a lot of area uncovered, a zombie has made its way to the portal and traveled through. Back to Earth. Yeah, so this is like the big thing you don't want to happen in any of these like sci-fi horror movies with the freaking alien or some shit. It's like, you don't want this dude getting back to Earth. Luckily, there's a giant elevator between the bunker and the surface, so they got a little bit of time. All bets are off. The only objective right now is contain the infection. It is time to bust out the big gun. And by big gun, I mean the big gun. The Rock retrieves the BFG and it is time to eliminate some zombies. Or people. Because he's going to kill some people. The Rock has gone evil mode and ate his I'm just following orders sandwich and decided that he has to just kill everybody. Because if nobody's alive, then nobody can be infected. But he can't kill everyone. Apparently the infection makes some people zombies and some people super soldiers. Which Samantha knows because she put brain matter near this zombie tongue and it didn't attack it, but it attacked the other brain matter. So that must mean that you could make a super soldier. How could you possibly get that from that? Whether it makes sense or not, Reaper's new objective is to stop The Rock from killing all the civilians because they might turn into super soldiers. If you kill them now, you'll never know. I mean, also, he just shouldn't kill the civilians. So like most of his objective is just save them from him, but it's also like, oh, the science, you know, there might still be a chance. But once Reaper goes through the portal, it's already too late. Pretty much everyone is gone except for Pinky and a room full of survivors that the kid found. When the kid went and told The Rock, hey, I found a room full of survivors, we gotta help them, The Rock was like, go kill them now, kill them immediately. And when the kid refused that order, The Rock shot him. He killed him. He shot him dead. He went from like 15 to 100 in a second. Bro went from, okay, yep, we're on our mission, we're gonna contain the thing, to I'm killing my own soldier because he disobeyed my order. Bro ate a really big evil sandwich. The evil sandwich was a big one. He ate the Castle Crasher sandwich and went After The Rock shoots the kid, Pinky pulls out a gun and points it at him, as well as everyone else. Everyone else turns on The Rock. They're all like, dude, it's over. What are you doing? But before they could actually fight, they all turned to look behind Pinky.
Oh, there's something behind me, isn't there?
Guys, it's right behind me, isn't it? A whole horde of zombies start rushing at them and they have to work together to survive. Tragically, during this process, Duke is viciously ripped through the floor. But not before he stands there for like 5 seconds. Like, his feet get grabbed and he's just kind of chilling there. He's like, oh, well, I guess that's it. While they're distracted, the Rock gets grabbed and pulled into the crowd of zombies. I wonder if we'll see him again. Reaper and Samantha are now forced to run and hide, and Reaper is hurt. He is likely going to die. If only there was some type of injection from a serum that could heal him and make him have super strength and super healing abilities. If only that existed. The gambit of a lifetime. Samantha decides to inject Reaper with the zombie, the infection. She's making him a zombie. Stupid fucking plan. But if it works, he'll become a super soldier and he'll live. They can save him. He can kill all the zombies. And it works. Reaper's a fucking super soldier now. They got lucky. They created a whole first-person fight section to be like the game, and it's actually pretty cool. Definitely the highlight of the movie. But it doesn't save how stupid the rest of the movie is. Pinky actually shows back up with the appearance of the Pinky from Doom 3, so that's cool. The movie ends with a final battle between Super Soldier Reaper and a mutating Rock. The battle ends when Reaper pushes the Rock through the portal and tosses a grenade in with him, destroying any chance of anyone else following them. The end. Movie over. What are my takeaways from this movie? The thing that keeps sticking with me is there are no demons in Doom. I can forgive a lot of jank story elements because, like, it's a sci-fi horror movie. You kind of just gotta roll with the punches, but there are no demons in Doom. I can't forgive the hell game not having hell. I can't forgive the demon game not having demons. What are you talking about? This seems like the kind of movie that usually people would be like, oh, you know, it doesn't take itself too seriously. You can kind of just, you know, watch it and enjoy it. But it doesn't really do that. It doesn't have that feeling. There's not a lot of moments where you're like, oh, this movie gets it. It understands. And that hurts it because it feels like a spoof of the genre more than an actual sci-fi horror movie. There's so much silliness and just cartoonish stupidity in this movie. A lot of the movie's boring and then everyone just dies. So it's like, okay, cool. All right. Yeah, so if you like this video, subscribe to my channel and maybe watch watch this video. It's about a Disney Channel original movie called Geek Charming. I don't know why I always say that. I always say Geek charming. I don't say geek charming. I say geek. Am I
Charming.
crazy? I don't know, guys. Just watch the video, please.